Hi YouTube. Um, it's 1:20 p.m. and I was sleeping until a little bit past noon because, as usual, as I talked about 1,000 times before, I wake up every day at 4 a.m. with nausea. Sometimes it makes me throw up. It doesn't matter what I did or didn't eat, or whether I slept upright or not. It's like some kind of timekeeper inside of my body. Oh, it's 4 a.m. Time to drop the blood sugar severely and make you wake up anxious and sick to your stomach. But the silver lining is that, and again, this has been happening for my entire life, and I never get used to it. I'm 30, I'm 34, and every day I'm still disappointed, as though I expect to just sleep normally. But what I've been practicing lately, instead of being all upset about it the whole time and being in pain that I'm in pain, I've practiced being kind to my mind like it's a scared child. This is an idea I've come across very recently on YouTube, and I saw it in from a couple of different people, and I wanted to share with you the name of the channel that I got it from. His name is Dr. Brad Fanistill. The best way to talk to your brain to reduce, what's the title here? To reduce chronic pain and anxiety. It's a good video. I recommend checking it out if you're the kind of person who has lots of anxiety and or chronic pain. And basically I'm talking to myself and saying, like, there, brain, I know that you're feeling upset and you're trying to protect me with your strong signals, but it's gonna be okay. I hear you. I'm taking care of you. I promise. Don't be scared. It's okay. That kind of a thing. And it helps. It's comforting. It doesn't, I don't know. I mean, it really helps. It feels a lot better than being like, oh crap, I hate this so much. I wish it would stop. Oh no. Because what I learned in that video from Dr. Brad Fanistill was that your brain takes that as a cue to produce more of that signal. Oh no, you're not doing well. Here's more of that signal so you can take care of it. And yeah, it's been helpful. Yesterday, my partner, I'm not sure if we're really ex-partners, but she came over yesterday to get her stuff because I have terrible meltdowns where sometimes I break things and I'd say I'm gonna kill myself, and I've never actually tried to do that, but I've had this habit since I was told I was saying it when I was 4 years old. And I remember as a kid having moments where I'd be so upset that I would like throw a toy at my wall and there'd be a hole in the wall, and I'd be so ashamed and upset and think how I'm out of control and I have to stop this. And I was like 9 when I was doing that, and so the pattern is the same. What I promised to my partner is that I will do everything in my power to scream into a pillow, beat up a pillow, beat up the couch, whatever, so that I don't have these explosive, destructive meltdowns. That's a challenge, but I've I've lived in situations where I was still having meltdowns, but because I was so embarrassed about it, I would, scream into my pillow. Sometimes I would lose my shit and like throw my phone at the floor and damage it or the wall or something, and that's not good. But I've always had meltdowns, and it kind of seems like they got worse in the last few years and more extreme. But I have it in my mind. I have the muscle memory, I guess, to scream into a pillow and stuff like that. So yeah, it's gotten really warm here. It's going to be in the 90s today, and we don't have AC, but with the curtains and the window fan blowing air outside, exhausting the air, it's pretty comfortable in here. But my partner also wanted to stay in an air-conditioned house, which her friend has. So whenever she does come back in a few days, we'll be switching off, and I'll sleep on the couch one day, and then she'll sleep on the couch the next, and so on. And over the next couple months, if I keep my promise and don't break things and talk about suicide, I find better ways to deal with my emotions. Like, we don't necessarily have to move apart from each other or break up. And I was really happy when she came home, because when she left, I had, in my mind, interpreted things to mean that I would have to leave in a couple months and figure out my life. And that's very scary, but also something I was accepting, because out of respect for Kayla, and like, my partner's name is Kayla. And what can you do if somebody needs you to leave? What can you do? You have to figure out how to leave. So, but she came home and she wasn't upset, or she didn't act upset, and we had a normal, nice time. We were talking nicely and laughing and just hanging out, and it was like good vibes. And she was happy to see our cat, and I relaxed a lot, because she cares about me a lot, and even after all this crap I put her through, she still does, and she still wants to make sure I'm okay. And so autism is a really difficult thing to cope with, but I'm trying my best, and I hope that I can keep the home that we've created together, because I could potentially find resources to get into a group home or something like that, but as somebody who's been in a state of burnout and incapable of working for a couple months, my future just feels very uncertain. And I try to just stay calm and stay in the present, but also you can't stay fully in the present. You have to make plans, and so it's just a scary balancing act, because I've applied for tons of jobs and I've been rejected for most and haven't heard back from the other half. And again, given that I've been having meltdowns, I'm just really afraid that whatever job I get is gonna put me into that situation where I'm having meltdowns at work. And I want to work. I want to be productive. I want to support myself. I want to have a nervous system that doesn't feel such extreme anxiety and doesn't struggle so much to understand social cues and not knowing what to say, and I kind of just feel like an alien in most situations. And it was easier as a student in school because you're listening to teachers all day, and so if you're just quiet and listening, at least you're doing at least you're doing your job by paying attention to what they're telling you. And I wasn't good at that either. I was always spacing out. But in school, I had this feeling like it was more okay, like people understood and accepted me. I didn't get bullied very much after freshman or sophomore year. I kind of withdrew from friend groups that were not kind and became a super loner and just kind of did my own thing and tried to fix my grades so I could graduate on time. And somehow I did, and I managed to go to college, not a traditional college, pretty much the only kind of college that I could have graduated from where we had evaluations instead of grades, and I was able to use more of my general knowledge to BS a lot of my way through it. Unfortunately, I couldn't muster the focus, the energy after being in class all day to come home and then like read books. I just couldn't do it. And now that I'm an employee, I was an ESL teacher for 8 years, and it was awkward and uncomfortable, and sometimes excruciatingly so, but I wasn't having meltdowns in this way. It didn't start until I became a para educator for students with disabilities, high needs, some of them also autistic, with loud and large stims and sometimes violent outbursts. I wanted to do that work, but I was constantly overloaded and would sometimes have meltdowns at work, and would sometimes come home and just scream. And it progressed to the point where sometimes at work I would punch myself in the face or bang my head on the wall or run away and go home early. And then coming home and trying to live my life here and keep a clean house and keep my body fed. I would just get overloaded and break stuff and scream. And I don't want to. I swear to you, every single time that I broke something was a huge bummer. It's never been an office space kind of free-for-all getting my stress out. It's always been a huge disappointment. Also the screaming, because people can hear you. I don't live in a house in the middle of nowhere. I live in an apartment. I'm lucky I haven't had the police called on us. So this shit sucks, man. And if you peruse the subreddits, the autism, evil autism, you'll just see hordes of people who are going through it, trying to stay off the streets, trying to maintain their employment, but finding it basically impossible. So in September, I talked to Social Security to find out if I qualify to attest my case, is what they call it. And I'll probably have to apply again. And I guess I'm grateful that all of this crap has forced me to acknowledge the truth, which is that I need a lifestyle that works for my nervous system. I need to stop forcing my nervous system to adapt to a neurotypical world, forcing a round hole through a square peg or whatever, or a square peg through a round hole, because I think a round peg would go through a square hole. But you know what I mean. instead of feeling like guilty and confused about why I'm not functioning like everybody else, now I know why. And now I know that it doesn't make sense to expect myself to magically and mystically transform into a neurotypical person. I have to learn how to live as a neurodivergent person. Unfortunately, in my country, the USA, that may well mean that you end up homeless if you don't have the support that you need when your life is falling apart, if you're late diagnosed and were masking and trying to cope on your own until it all fell apart. There's no nice organization you can go to who's immediately going to understand your problems and help you fix your life. It seems to be in this country always a long process of proving that you need the help. So, and even when you get the help, I'm not really sure what it'll be like, if I'll be able to support myself, or if it'll keep me in a state of dependence, or what. So yeah. In my spare time, which is all the time now, when I'm not anxious or trying to deal with being anxious, and I'm just enjoying myself, I have been watching Skinwalker Ranch and Beyond Skinwalker Ranch, and YouTube podcasts where they have the Skinwalker Ranch people on to talk about what doesn't make it on TV. And until I was about 30, when I would hear stuff like Skinwalker Ranch or Ancient Aliens, I would write it off immediately. And even though I might want it to be true, I would be wary of seeming unintelligent for falling for something so goofy. But then I started watching this stuff, and it was the coolest, absolute, most fascinating stuff ever to me personally. And it's an interesting thing being autistic and having your special interests, which get you so excited, and then dealing with very banal life stuff like having low blood sugar and struggling to make a meal. It's like, it makes me feel childish, because what it looks like on the outside is I'm enjoying myself, and now I have to do something that I don't want to, and I'm really mad. But that's just how it is. It's not immaturity, it's the brain, the nervous system being slow to adjust. Autistic people are stereotyped as needing rigid routines. That's like something that a lot of people know about autism, and there's a reason for that. I mean, like I've mentioned in my video before, I signed up for a volunteership. Here's my cat. And I wanted to do it. I signed up for it, but then when it came time to actually leave my apartment and go do it, my body was kicking up a lot of dust, and my brain said, you have to. And then my body said, no! And I stomped on the ground so hard that I collapsed, and I couldn't use that foot for 2 or 3 weeks without a crutch. And I couldn't do the volunteership because my brain, my nervous system, it's like a giant ship in the ocean, and you're trying to get it to change direction, and it doesn't just go like that. It's like a really long term effort. So I want to be more adaptable and flexible and whatnot. But the other part I don't talk a lot about is PTSD, and I was abused by my adoptive mother since I was 4 years old until I was so big that she physically couldn't do it anymore. I would defend myself, and I was just waiting until I was 18 to leave, to get away from her. And I'm so grateful that I found the kind of college that I could manage to survive in, so that I could be away from her. But coping with all that stuff in my nervous system, I mean, I was having panic attacks in my teen years, so extreme that I would throw up. You just feel like you're going crazy or you're gonna die, like someone pushed you out of an airplane without a parachute. Meltdowns are horrible, but they're actually not scary in that same way. You don't feel horrified that you're gonna die. You just feel like you want to kill yourself because you are so horrifically uncomfortable. It's slightly different. It's very strange. It's like more of a rage. Someone's putting a hot poker inside of my body, and yeah, it's different. But coping with all that stuff, it adds up, and that's what burnout is you cope with that stuff for long enough until your nervous system just starts to crumble and it doesn't cope the way that it was before, and you have more meltdowns, and it's called skill regression. So anyway, thanks for being here today. I hope you learned something about autism, and I'll see you in the next video. As always, I send you my unconditional love, and I hope you're well. Bye.